you did not give me. That this is what the government has given to us, and we have shared it. So the government has tried, but I want the government to try more for those that cannot see, so that they can afford, they can be able to eat from this palliative. So I commend the FCT Minister, Dr. Ramatu. May God subhanahu continue to protect you.
All right, thank you.
Now, our correspondent, Conrad Labe, spoke with the beneficiary, Malam Al-Hassan Jibran, to get an insight into what happened next.
Have you heard from the Honorable Minister?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you tell Nigerians what you were able to achieve?
So far, so good. After my complaint, when I spoke with the FCT Minister, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, they collected my number. I thought it was a joking matter. So on Monday, a week later, I think they called my line. Say, are you Mr. Jibrin Al-Hassan? I said, yes. The minister said she wants to see me on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I called the number that called me. They said I should come to Gariki Area 10, Art and Culture. So I should come along with vehicle. So I have to charter a vehicle from Tungamaje to Area 10. When I was going, I said, my brother, come with me. I don't know what is going to happen to me in Area 10. So I went there with him. I met Mr. Mustafa Mudiyon. They gave me rice and indomie to come and share to my people. When I dropped all those things in my house, I called them on phone, one after another. I distributed the palliative given to me according to the number, because I have written names. I took name to them with 4 numbers. So anybody I called that come to my house, I give and I snap. So after then, I sent the whole picture to SSA through WhatsApp to show that what was given to me, I have distributed it according to my complaint. So he said that he appreciated all what I did. So I asked him to convey my gratitude to FCT Ms. Dr. Ramotu. She has shown she's a leader of people that have heart of giving. You see, you people really did a wonderful job. Without the radio, without this media, I could have reached the FCT minister. So it's something for we to commend her and pray for her success with Mr. President.
That was Malam Al-Hassan Jibran, a caller on this program, sharing his experience and expressing appreciation for the COVID-19 palliatives he received on behalf of his community. Now, that is how well we want government to impact the lives of the citizenry, and so we enjoin you to join the conversation. We're streaming live on www.facebook.com/Radio Nigeria Network, or simply search Radio Nigeria. The lines to call are 0807 622 6771, again 0807 622 6771, and 0705 149 3324. Again 0705 149 3324. Now, once again, the numbers are 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. For WhatsApp and text messages only, you can reach us on 0705 864 2473. Now, remember to turn down the volume of your radio set before making your contributions. Keep them short, straight to the point. As part of efforts to contain the spread of the COVID-19, a memo was issued towards the end of March by the head of service of the Federation, Mrs. Folashade Yemieso, directing all non-essential public servants from level 12 to work from home, or below rather, below. Now, the president also ordered a lockdown in 3 states. The private sector joined in the lockdown and has since been implemented in different parts of the country at varying levels of enforcement. Socially, economically, and even educationally, the pandemic has taken a toll on the nation and the entire world, of course. In other words, economic activity slowed down for about 2 months. How does the government intend to sustain the economy? Our guest today is the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Office of the Vice President, Mr. Laulu Akande. So you're welcome to the program.
You're welcome. Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you on board.
Thank you so much. Good morning to all Nigerians.
Before we start, we were quite worried. There were news making the rounds that you had lost your job and several of your colleagues in the Office of the Vice President. Is that true?
Well, nobody in the Office of the Vice President was sacked. There was just a mix-up, and if you remember very well, when the president wasn't around when this happened, and immediately the president he clarified was that that nobody was sacked in the office of the vice president, and in fact he ensured that the people that were affected by that move, which was supposed to be a deployment, that none of them lost a day's salary, so everybody was paid, and he gave instructions to ensure that everybody kept their jobs. So it's not true that anybody was sacked at all from the VP's office.
That's glad news to hear. Now, let's move on to the issue at hand. The latest development is the issue where the federal government and state governments have begun to roll out plans for reopening the economy. That is due to the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown and the careful ease of the lockdown as well. We learned that the National Economic Council recently set up a 7-man committee to their areas of interest.
Yeah, so the effort or the attempt is to ensure that, going forward, that we can improve on the coordination, the synergy between what the federal government is doing and what the respective subnationals represented by the states are also doing in terms of how to reopen the economy. As you can tell, the National Economic Council is the constitutional body where the president gets advice on issues of the national economy, the economy of both the federal government and the states, which is what constitutes the national economy. So NEC at its last meeting felt that we could all do better. The federation can do better if we have some kind of official mechanism, an ongoing one that will be working with the presidential task force, that handles the federal government's aspect of the whole COVID response, and particularly in this case, the issue of reopening the economy, with a group of governors, picked from the different regions and the political zones, to see that whatever the federal government is doing, the state government are aware. Whatever the state governments are planning to do, the federal government is aware, and everybody can work together. That's the whole idea behind that committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the vice president has had series of meetings, particularly virtual ones, that's teleconference, to ensure the smooth running of the nation's socio-economic life and governance as well. What is the outcome, and have there been any changes so far? What do we expect to see? Will this now be the norm?
Well, as you can tell, the governance or the work of government, cannot stop, in spite of the difficulties and the issues of social distancing and whatever other fallouts of the pandemic. So the idea of virtual meetings and teleconferences became something that was very handy. As a matter of fact, we have technology to thank that government continues. So we've had 2 federal executive council meetings now presided over by the president, which was essentially virtual. So you have the president and the vice president and a few ministers sitting in the chambers, and most of the ministers, connecting from their offices and other distant zones. The point is that governance is continuing. And of course, the vice president himself, in many of his own meetings, including the National Economic Council, has also adopted this idea of virtual meeting, video conferencing, where essentially, the whole heart of governance is progressing, and whatever has to be done is done. We're having the regular meetings, we're having the regular interactions. Now, there are still a couple physical meetings, when it's just maybe 1 person or 2 persons, but when you have a fairly large number, then that is when we use the video conferencing. And I can say that, as a matter of fact, last week, at the end of the National Economic Council, we not only had the first National Economic Council virtual, we also had the first virtual press conference in I believe in the history of the villa, because we also had
it was a virtual
so the press conference after the press briefing after the National Economic Council was also virtual. you know, because the governors joined, you know, virtually, and so we also had a press briefing that was virtual. So the point here is that, you know, governance is going to continue. As a matter of fact, you know, I think the vice president and some of the governors actually joked that the virtual meetings were much cheaper, you know, to hold, so that if they don't have governors traveling down, and the governors were excited themselves that they could sit in their offices and got the job done. You know, you have presentations, you know, ministers came, made presentations as they normally do at the NEC, and the governors responded, you know, just like they would do if it were to be a physical meeting, to the extent that even the press conference itself was virtual.
Okay. Now, earlier we had a Nigerian resident here in the FCT who received palliatives based on the intervention of the Minister of State for the FCT. Let's look at palliatives. MSMEs have been largely affected by the lockdown and so the COVID-19 issue and so on. What measures are in place to give them a soft landing, especially as businesses gradually reopen?
Also,
plans for them?
Yes, thank you for raising that issue of Malam Alazan, you know, who gave a very thrilling, exciting, actually fascinating testimony of the effectiveness of the federal government. Now, the reason, you know, why we are working with FRCN to do this program is actually what happened with the case of Malam Alazan. You know, the whole idea of this program that we do every Thursday, Have Your Say, is to bring governance to the people, is to ensure that there is a constant interaction where we get feedback. So we've had ministers here, we've had heads of agencies, and so the FCT minister came here, the Minister of State, and there was a complaint, and she ensured that the matter was sorted out. So I wanted to say, you know, that this is the real reason why we have this program, and to encourage Nigerians, you know, to connect, you know, to this program and come out and say whatever it is that they have for us as a feedback. Now, back to your question. So a lot of what the federal government has been doing, working with the states, is to empower our MSMEs. And you will recollect that since, I believe, sometimes in 2016 or 2017, the Vice President himself, you know, in implementing the economic vision of the President, designed the program that we call the MSME clinics. Now, the idea of the MSME clinics is to create a forum on the spot where in each of the states, and by the way, the Vice President has gone to virtually every state in this country. You know, maybe we have 1 or 2, 3 that are left, you know, to conduct these MSME clinics, where you bring the MSMEs, you bring them in contact with, in direct and immediate contact with government agencies that are regulating their business, be it NAFDAC, you know, be it CAC for registration, be it the credit of agencies, Nexim Bank, BOI. And what happens in those clinics is that whatever the problem that an MSME person or business has with a particular agency, they are brought to fore on that spot. And the agencies, you know, oftentimes represent the chief executives or the executive directors or senior officials of those agencies are also there to listen to whatever the complaint that they have, and in many of the cases actually sort out whatever the problem is. You know, so I say that to make the point that we have always had a very keen focus on the work of the MSMEs, understanding that they form the largest block of job creation, you know, and a very important aspect of our national economy. So before, and like I said, the Vice President has gone to virtually all the states to do, you know, to bring the small business owners in direct contact, and a lot of their problems have been solved. Now, what are we now doing right now in terms of the COVID? Well, you know, so we are intensifying that. Recently, the Vice President actually launched, you know, one of the what we can call the palliatives for the MSMEs by NAFDAC. Now, NAFDAC is that agency that does the issue of licensing for drugs and food and stuff like that. And what NAFDAC has done in this specific instance is to say that, look, I'm going to give you a huge discount, I think about 80% for the licensing fees, and say that, look, people get discounts. There's a time to free registration for, I think, about 3 months, and we are encouraging all the other agencies to also come in now to implement and to design a program that encourages and gives extra support to people who want to start businesses and people who are doing businesses, whether it's in the area of registration or whether it's the area of licensing, whatever it is that they do when they interface with these agencies. We're encouraging them, just like NAFDAC, to bring some very useful palliatives that can encourage people at this time and that can support them to get through what is clearly a difficult experience and time.
All right, if you're just joining us, the program is Have Your Say, coming to you live on the network service of Radio Nigeria. And today our guest is the Senior Special Assistant to the President and Media and Publicity Office of the Vice President, Mr. Laulu Akande, and he has been giving us an insight into how the country's economy will recover, especially after the COVID-19 lockdown, ease of lockdown, and reopening of the Nigerian economy. It's now time for us to hear from Nigerians, and like we announced earlier, the lines to call are 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. For WhatsApp and text messages, 0705 864 2473. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, we'll hear from Nigerians.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
The National Center for Disease Control has informed me that a large proportion of new infections are now occurring in our communities through person-to-person contact. So we must pay attention to the danger of close contact between person to person. At this point, I will remind all Nigerians responsibility for the recommended measures to prevent transmission, including maintaining physical distancing, good personal hygiene, and staying at home.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Once again, the program is Have Your Say, coming to you live on the network service of Radio Nigeria. And we've been discussing with the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity Office of the Vice President, Mr. Laulu Akande. The lines are open now for you to be part of the conversation. Like we said earlier, the lines to call are 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. For WhatsApp and text messages only, 0705 864 2473. Once again, 0705 864 2473. That's for text messages and WhatsApp only. Don't forget, you can also see us because we're streaming live on www.facebook.com/Radio Nigeria Network, or simply search Radio Nigeria. We have a first caller. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Tell us who you are and where you're calling from. We can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, please. Good morning, ma'am.
Hello, good morning.
Yes,
It's calling from Jos.
From Jos. Okay, good. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Olaimi. Okay, good morning to your guest. We've done very well this far as a country. So the reopening of the economy gradually is a welcome development, because the issue of continuous lockdown and selective sharing of palliatives is not helping matters, because almost everybody is now vulnerable. We should open up economic activities while putting measures in place to maintain social distancing, wearing of face masks, and so on. Schools should not be open very soon. Please and please, let's learn from what happened in other countries that opened up schools immediately and then they even became infected. Let us open the schools gradually, because especially the public schools. The public schools have a lot of infrastructure deficits. Some of them don't have water. Some of them don't have toilets. The classrooms are crowded. All these things should be put in place before such schools are open. We can open them in groups. Maybe we start from maybe the universities, especially the private universities. They have better facilities that they can observe all those COVID-19 restrictions and so on. Then we now go to the public universities, examine them one by one, fumigate all the schools, whether private or public. The federal government should take that task of fumigating all of them. So when we put all those measures in place, then gradually, maybe by the time it is July or so, schools will be opening gradually.
All right,
so we don't dig a new area.
Amen.
We'll get it right sometime someday. God will see us through.
All right, thank you very much, Adano. Let's take more calls, then we'll get a reaction from Mr. Akade. Yes, please tell us who you are, where you're calling from, and go ahead.
Good morning.
Hello?
This is Bishop Rito from Sabobida and Adepi.
Yes, please make it short, straight to the point.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Now,
Hello? Hello, are you there? Hello? Bishop, okay, we can hear you now. Just go ahead, please.
Okay, I think I'm very happy that the federal government wants to open the state now. Because the truth about the matter is that we cannot really contain this idea of having a total lockdown. Our resources cannot really take care of it. That's the government truth. And that's why we should run a state. Let us go our normal life, but this time around with real precaution. Let us assume that COVID-19 has become part and parcel of us. Then we all are there by the rules of the game. Ensuring that this face mask, physical distancing, and so on and so forth, we observe them. Then concerning schools, my advice is that we should open the schools gradually. Let us have what we call shift. You have morning, afternoon, and evening.
All right.
Because the population we have in our various schools, they are animals.
Okay, please.
So the best
you have 10 seconds.
Run a shifting system. Then you get better.
All right. Thank you very much, Bishop Isong. Hello, hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Thanks for taking my call. My name is Ada Odazbe.
Oh, good. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good morning to our guests in the house.
Sorry, we didn't get where you're calling from. Is that Delta State?
Sorry, I'm calling you from Ila, Delta State.
All right, go ahead, please.
Now, what it is this Augusta in the house. First and foremost, we did a lot of dissemination of information, especially where it concerns NAFDAC and the drugs they are coming up with. Please, we need to be informed. Then secondly, schools, opening of schools, we must tread with caution. We have a huge population of children in school. If you're traveling from here to Maiduguri, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., you will see children on the road. And it's like that all over the country. We don't have the facilities. The one we have already, it's already busting by the seams. 3, the government has to think, government across board, on what to do with our mosques. That's what we call mortuary. Most of them are really getting overstretched. We must do something before we have another kind of disease coming out from there. They don't have electricity to run it. There is one town in like here.
All right.
It's bad, very, very bad.
All right,
so please, the dissemination of information is doing good. Right. God bless Nigeria. Thank you
so much. Amen to that. Yes. Hello, let's take 2 more calls, then we hear from our guest. Hello, tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name and where you are.
My name is Kechi Matthew, CEO of Budu Farms Limited. I'm calling from Calabar.
Okay, Calabar. Go ahead, please.
Calabar, Cross River State.
All right.
I want to commend our guest there for the issue of our reopening the economy.
Yes, please.
The MSMEs, I as an MSME, we are suffering in this country, but some of us are not even with the palliative that they are having. Some of us are not even beneficiaries.